Yes, Clem Fandango, I can hear you.
No, what am I saying? What, this? It's nothing. Really, it's nothing, Ed. It's just, it's just vocal minority with Nick and Steve.
Have a good time. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened.
Okay, you little bastards. The time has come. The moment we've all been waiting for. It's the vocal minority with Nick and Steve Alabruski. Let's go.
Here we go, hopping off the ledge and right into the podcast with the vocal minority with Nick and Steve Alabruski.
Welcome to the show.
We welcome you.
Thank you. Back again. Hey, we're on the interweb. That's where the show exists nowadays. So you can find it everywhere, like thevocalminority.net. That's our own website, but I don't think anyone goes to websites anymore. So find us on social medias, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Reddit, X, Twitter thing. And
Call our phone line too, right? I mean,
Yes.
Make your telephone a microphone real quick by dialing 844-48-VOCAL.
Yes, and you can send us a telegram too, because everyone seems to think those two things are equal nowadays.
What?
No, just not a call. Like, I don't know. People comment ad nauseum, but picking up a phone call and using your human voice in this day and age, that seems antiquated. So send us a carrier pigeon and let us know what you're thinking about the show.
Be careful of asbestos, okay? Those pigeons really, really create a lot of asbestos.
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
Fact?
Yeah. I think it's fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah, certified.
Okay. They create it? Like they shit out asbestos?
Here's the deal, dude. If you have a lot of pigeons, like Mike Tyson does, I worry about Mike Tyson quite a bit because he has so many pigeons, like all their poop and their bedding and stuff like that, their crates cages that they live in. It kicks up a lot of asbestos and puts it into your lungs. A lot of people with birds. I think
what just happened to him? He just had some health scare. Maybe it was asbestos pigeon.
No, it's his ulcer that's acting up.
Because he's stressed out about all the asbestos he's getting from his pigeons.
It's either that or Jake Paul, dude. We hear the fight has been postponed, that they still will fight. But.
Yeah, whatever. I heard it was canceled. I heard it was postponed. I don't know what's going on. Tyson would still obliterate the guy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you watched the videos of him training recently?
Yeah, he's still crazy.
It's frightening. No, to watch him hit when he's with the coach with wearing the body pad.
And he's still a monster.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Still quick. I mean, he's powerful. Like, yeah. You know what? I hate Jake Paul. I don't know if I hate him as a person. Yeah, I think I do. I hate you as a person, Jake Paul. And all the stuff that you're doing with fighting is just kind of comical, but you got my viewership. I mean, I tune in and see all of them. So I don't know. I'd like to see Mike Tyson knock you out.
Oh, well, hopefully Tyson lives long enough and doesn't die of old age before we can get this fight going, because it would be interesting to see. I assume Tyson will destroy him, but
I will tell you this: if they offered me $5 million to go in the ring and let Mike Tyson knock me out, I would absolutely take it in a heartbeat.
I would take it bent over a counter for Mike Tyson for $5 million. I'll let him do anything he wants to me for $5 million. Beat the crap out of me, pound the hell out of me. I mean,
I'd want to take the punches,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I had the preference, I don't know. Although I don't know. I mean, a bunch of gay guys do that all the time. They're fine. Getting the shit beat out of you by Mike Tyson, that could cause permanent damage.
Do you know what? They'll think of the glory. I mean, you got your ass kicked by Mike Tyson.
It would be glorious. What about the glory hole? Would you go down on Tyson for $5 million?
Oh,
as opposed to him, pounding you from behind? $5 million? You wouldn't blow anybody?
I'm comfortable, dude. It depends.
Apparently, geez.
Yeah,
I guarantee you what, Steve, you would not blow Donald Trump for $5 million.
Oof.
Can you take a little bite?
I was going to say, I'd use some teeth.
Unchanged, though. He hasn't had his diaper changed. So that adds to it.
Why does that have to be thrown in there?
Because you know that he's got to be clean. I mean, you got to take it as it is.
That's how a proper lover would treat me. But
okay, but
I don't know. I think I'd blow his little marshmallow mushroom dick for $5 million.
Let's think about this for a second. Do we think at all that Donald Trump as a lover would even care at all how much he stunk, whether it's you or anyone else?
I mean, Stormy Daniels, she laid it all out. She never got into anything like in that category of him not being cleansely. So who knows? It's a good question.
I think she had to, dude, for people to take her seriously and not think that she was just going out for him. But if you watch some of her clips on Jimmy Kimmel, I mean, she's revealed quite a bit about that little peanut.
Interesting. I definitely don't think Trump is a sensitive, heartfelt lover. So you're probably right. Dirty depends, maybe part of all that.
Yeah.
$5 million? I don't know.
Well, because
do a lot of good.
You got to figure though. I mean, with her, I think I'll total less than about 15 seconds. But yeah, I mean, if you're really good with your mouth, maybe you get lucky, and it only lasts 15 seconds.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Maybe because not everyone can do a good job with that.
No,
I've dated plenty of chicks who've done an awful job with it.
Well, will you help Steve practice? I mean, if he wants to practice on you, can he do it just to make sure he's real good at it?
I'm not nearly as close with him as you are, so I think if anybody is going to do that would be you.
Listen, I'll cut one of you a discount of like $4 million, but I'm just practicing for free. I have value. Okay,
it's called training, dude. We're helping you train. You don't want to win.
I would do the Fast Times of Ridgemont High thing. I'll just practice on a banana. Any food court in a shopping mall. Like that.
It makes me somewhat nauseous to picture you doing it on a banana, dude, and Donald Trump. Here's the good news, Brewski. Steve already committed that if he gets $5 million for something, that he's taking care of both of us. So we don't have to help him. We just have to support him, okay?
I was going to say, that money's going to get reinvested. You guys are going to feel the benefit. So I wouldn't be so down on this. Don't be so down on me going down, okay? That's right.
Where's Nick?
No, I'm not doing it. It's Steve, dude. It's Steve. Okay. What will you and Steve be doing tonight?
Probably making love.
No, it's just a BJ, brother. Come on.
We're not just fucking, as long as we're making love.
Well, heavy news cycle. Shall we get into it, boys?
Yes.
All right.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this. We interrupt our program to bring you a special.
Here is a news bulletin. We interrupt this program to bring
all the humanity and all the
a date which will live in infamy. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Need to know news.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
News you need to know.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. Steve Harness.
All right. Speaking of Trump fucking us and us fucking Trump and round we go. We finally got the news in this past news cycle here over the last several days that I think most common sense Americans and certainly most progressive/liberal Americans have been fantasizing about, perhaps even self-pleasuring to the notion that Trump would finally be found guilty in a criminal court of law. I don't even know where to begin with all this. I mean,
convicted felon.
Yeah, convicted felon now. I mean, hasn't been sentenced yet. I can't wait to find out what that is. So, I don't know. I mean, rejoice on the left, and the right is just imploding and freaking out. And from what I can tell, trying to destroy our democracy by vowing revenge, by saying that the courts are illegitimate, by questioning the jury process, even though we know some of them were conservatives on that jury.
Right.
But they were just willing to burn the house down, apparently.
Just remember that Trump's lawyer picked some of those jury members as well. So this wasn't a one-sided thing. This, come on.
And Trump could have testified. They could have called actual witnesses. I mean, they could have done a whole thing, but they did not. And yeah, some of these juror members listed their main social media site as Truth Social. So only MAGA people are on there. And they found him guilty, not on one count, not on half the counts, on every single count, all 34 of them, in basically less than 24 hours, only like 9 hours of deliberation. I mean, pretty goddamn open and close sort of solid rebuke from the jury and the legal system. Yet, the right, just saying it's a kangaroo court, it's illegitimate, it's a corrupt judge. The jurors were all by it. Like,
headed towards the banana republic, dude.
Well,
come on.
What they don't understand, and they would ignore this even if you told them, is that while Alvin Bragg was prosecuting Donald Trump, there were 167 other people in the state of New York, in Manhattan, who were being prosecuted for falsifying business records.
Right.
The same thing that Donald Trump was being prosecuted for. So it's not like he's the only person to be facing charges like this. It's
of course.
not an outlier.
Yeah. And his, again, I know I keep pointing this out, but his lawyer at the time, Michael Cohen, was already found guilty on charges related to the exact same case. And no lawyer just acts on their own. They do what their client, Donald Trump, tells them to do. So.
Went to jail, dude. He already did his time.
Right. So I guess that's my first question to you guys before I get into this little article I got here is what's our guess? He's absolutely going to get jail time. But 30 days home confinement, 4 years in a real prison. What are our predictions?
So tough, dude. You know what? I think that he's going to. My initial guess will be I think that he's going to get 4 years. Okay. I think that he'll get 4 years. I think that they're going to give it to him that way. And knowing that they could give him a lot more, knowing that he needs to be made an example of. If we stop now, it's like, stopping before you get to the buffet, right? We're just standing here looking at it. Like, we need to eat now. So let's do it. Put him in jail. 4 years.
If we're going with the premise that justice is blind, that everyone should be treated equally under the legal system, and as I feel the judge has really gone out of his way, maybe even favoring Trump too much as far as leniency on, violating the gag order and some other things, outbursts in court, all these things. If we're going with that premise still, he has to get 4 years. First of all, he could get 4 years for each of the 34 counts, but everyone thinks that's, probably over the top. But, his lawyer got 3 years for this. So by default, he has to at least get 3 years. And since he's the head of it, 4 years would make a lot of sense. And what is the point of having any sort of maximum penalty if we don't use it in a case like this, where it's not just technically falsifying documents, it's falsifying them to interfere with a presidential election. The biggest election we have, the biggest honor we're supposed to have as citizens to vote in our democracy for the head of the country. If this doesn't deserve the biggest penalty, then why even have a maximum penalty?
All these right-wing lunatics are stopping that sentence short of to meddle in a presidential election. They're like, these are just mistakes made on documents. Like, this is crazy. But you don't talk about the rest, and the rest is what's important. The intent. The intent is important, and you know what the intent was.
And this notion that it's a novel case, we've never done something like this, and it could be overturned on appeal because we've never connected dots like this. It's falsifying documents. It was tied into the felony of, interfering with an election. All that together makes it a felony. And I've heard all these experts saying no one's ever done this before. This could get overturned. No one's ever done it before because no president's ever blatantly, directly interfered with the presidential election. So just because we've never had to do this before doesn't mean that that's a reason to get him off on appeal. So I don't know, Brewski, what are your predictions here?
I don't think that he's going to get actual jail time. I do think that he might get some home confinement, but I think they'll also defer the time as far as when it can actually happen, because if they tell him he has to do it during the presidential election, things are going to get like really weird, and they'll think about optics, and you're keeping him off the campaign trail, even though technically he could do all the events he wants to from Mar-a-Lago, beamed in, we're doing here right now. Technically, he could do that. And then,
what if the judge sentenced him to 4 years in prison pending appeal? Because that would go past the election. And, so if your appeal is not overturned, then you owe us 4 years in prison. But we're going to keep you out of jail pending appeal. We're going to let you go through the appeals process. Would that be fair, or is that still treating? No,
I think that's fair, because they have said that even on appeal, this case will stretch into next year.
Yeah.
So that's entirely possible. I think that is possible.
What would be funny to me is if it goes to appeal, he's get 4 years, and then he's let off. They overturn it on appeal, but by that point, your other two criminal cases have already gone through the system, and now you're guilty on those ones. So maybe you get off on one of them. You got two more waiting for you. So
have you all seen the Manhattan Appeals Court? Like, have you seen who they are?
Yeah, it's 5 black women, right?
Yeah. Good luck, dude. I mean, I'm just saying, good luck. And then his probation officer, also a black woman. Nice. It's funny to see, like, was that intentional? I mean, some of these people that you've just treated like crap for years are now deciding whether or not you are a free man.
I believe Alanis Morissette would call that ironic. Isn't it ironic, you know?
It is.
This is creating a whole Pandora's box of, do we treat you like every other citizen, or are there some logical exceptions because you are a former president, or God forbid current president? Like, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be probably some amount of consideration, but not over the top, not where you just get to skate on all this stuff. And
no, but I think
the founding fathers never foresaw the clusterfuck we have now in this country, where they never thought that we'd have a corrupt president and an entire party behind him controlling one branch of the government, where they could let him skate on these things. It was unforeseeable, but here we are.
Trying to explain to my mom that on Saturday, she was like, you can't vote if you're a felon. How can you be the president of the United States if you're a felon?
Right.
I was like, well, they want the people to decide. And they were smart enough back then to think like, oh, no one would ever elect a felon. Are you kidding me? Like, no one would ever do that. So we don't even have to worry about it. Yet here we are.
Isn't it really disgusting when you zoom out? We have an insurrection case, we have a flagrant abuse of classified documents case, and we have an election interference case. I mean, all three of these cases, when you put them together, show just a fundamental, complete disrespect of the principles of our government.
The hypocrisy continues when you think about, okay, Trump, I bet you won't be doing the lock her up chant anymore. It's not so funny, you know, when you think about the fact that they're always talking about fair and free election. Well, you violated that. So only fair to you, only fair if you're cheating or what? And then you always tout you're the law and order party. Okay, well, here we are, dude. This is law and order. This was, you were indicted by a jury of your peers. You were found guilty by a jury of your peers. So why even take this on to another court to say, oh, we're going to appeal this? Let's just go with it, dude. These were your attorney picked half of this jury, and the state picked half of this jury.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Grand jury indicted him. A jury of his peers found guilty. This is our system. You had a chance to testify, have your witnesses. This is the entire premise of our legal system. That now the GOP just seems completely willing to just throw out the window for this case. They won't for, any case that they're in favor for. And I'm going to get to Hunter Biden later, but, whether it's Hunter Biden or, some minority breaking into the country, like, oh, those legal cases, those are correct and will be done properly. But the one affecting our guy, that's obviously a banana republic, a banana court or whatever.
You guys just mentioned the lock her up thing. Yeah. Did you see this? Did you see the story that Trump actually claimed in an interview that he never said to lock her up?
What? I know he just said in a speech recently that, I wouldn't be locking up political opponents.
Well, it says here, and this is from CNN today, former President Donald Trump falsely claimed in a new interview that he did not make a, quote, lock her up, end quote, call for imprisonment of his Democratic opponent of the 2016 presidential election. And they quoted him. He says, this is something he said at a speech. For what she's done, they should lock her up. And then the crowd started chanting, lock her up. And he said, lock her up is right. And he said that at a rally in 2016.
That was a mantra. There was T-shirts. Come on. Talk about trying to gaslight people.
He's actually been coming out and saying, I never said to lock her up.
It's absurd. And have you guys seen the clip of him in 2016 circulating again, where he's talking about if Hillary Clinton was under indictment for crimes, our government would grind to a halt?
Absolutely.
All right. So listen, Brewski, what's your brief opinion of Colin Cowherd?
The thing about Colin is that Colin likes to think about himself as the smartest guy in the room on every topic all the time.
Yes. And this is a sports talk show host. That's why I'm getting
exactly.
Okay. And would you label his politics any one direction or the other?
I always thought him more as leaning a little more conservative.
Yeah. He has gotten into some politics. And the reason I bring this up is
there's a little bit right,
Yeah, for sure. There's been a million opinions, obviously, in the last several days since this came out. But I read this article about Colin Cowherd, and I think it speaks very well. And let me just run through some of the highlights of it. Sports talk radio host Colin Cowherd, who predicted a red wave in the 2022 midterms and accused Democrats of maliciously keeping children out of school during the pandemic. So, yes, leaning right for sure. Cowherd, whose nationally syndicated radio show is simulcast on Fox Sports, declared as much after this recent verdict of Trump being found guilty on 34 felonies. He says, quote, he's trying to sell me an America that doesn't exist. I live in a nice neighborhood in L.A., and it's not one of those swanky neighborhoods, but I don't see crime. I'm not stumbling over homeless people. Cowherd argued that the picture of skyrocketing crime that Trump has been evoking on the campaign trail is simply non-existent, something that we have said on the show many times. I talked about my trips to San Francisco, that I don't see any of this crap. The former president responded to Thursday's verdict by accusing the justice system of being rigged. Cowherd thinks that Trump, who he called a con artist, is now stoking increasing delusionment amongst his supporters. You think so? Donald Trump is now a felon, he said. His campaign chairman was a felon. So was his deputy campaign manager. So was his personal lawyer, his chief strategist, his national security advisor, his trade advisor, his foreign policy advisor. They're all felons. Yet I'm supposed to believe that somehow Trump is just not guilty at all. He's a perfect angel. He is literally surrounded, and this is me talking now, he has literally surrounded himself by people that have been found guilty in criminal courts. Yet we're all supposed to believe that somehow he's the squeaky clean one.
They always say, like it starts from the top. It goes from the top down, This is nothing new, by the way. If you look at his life and his history, you will see plenty of times that he's a crook. He's always been a crook. He's been in trouble for it before. You can't run a nonprofit. There's plenty of things that he's been in trouble for. For a guy who you look at and you say, like, gosh, the guy had all the luck in the world, grew up rich, high society, all the, he's just, what a charmed life that he's led. If you really look into his past and his present, you will not only see that so many people are saying this is what he did, this is what he's guilty of, and we're supposed to just believe that, oh, poor Trump, like everyone's coming after him. Like, just leave the man alone. He's just trying to get America great again, dude. Leave him alone. Yeah. This guy's a bag of shit, and it shows over and over again. I can't believe that people are still looking at this saying, like, well, the courts are rigged, this, and that, and the other thing. Like, no, all these people aren't wrong. He is wrong.
Right. Yeah. Let me throw another Cowherd quote in here that ties right into that. He said, if everybody in your social circle is a felon, I don't think it's rigged. I don't think the world's against you. And to get people to agree on anything, 34 counts, 0 for 34. That's a batting slump even the New York Mets could be impressed with. And it's such an apropos point. Like, yes, I mean, 0 for 34, everyone in your circle. And just as a reminder to anyone who's forgotten recent history here, the list of Trump's former team members who have been convicted of a crime is expansive. Amongst them, Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, former campaign vice chairman, Rick Gates, former fixer, Michael Cohen, former chief strategist, Steve Bannon, former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, former trade advisor, Peter Navarro, and his former foreign policy advisor, George Papadopoulos, and now the head of that little crime ring, Donald J. Trump. How can everyone around you be a fucking felon and you're innocent? Go fuck yourself with your gaslighting bullshit.
It's time to be done, dude. Are we starting to see some people at least pull away a little bit, right? Brewski sent out a couple articles that we were looking at today. And I mean, the Speaker of the House said, what, if Biden wins in 2024, we should accept it and move on?
No. Former Speaker, Kevin McCarthy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Kevin McCarthy said.
And that's the problem. Former, yeah. None of the current GOP is doing anything.
But current GOP senator from Arkansas, Tom Cotton, was the one that said that he doesn't think that Congress can step in on elections and that we should accept the election results. And
what you just said though, that is such a bullshit answer. He didn't say that he doesn't think the elections. He doesn't think that the elections are fair. He's just saying, well, we don't have the power to overturn it, so we have to accept it. He didn't come out and say, of course our elections are free and fair. Of course we have to accept it. Everyone. He just said, hey, those of us that are elected, we don't have the power, so yeah, we should accept it. He's just stating the sky is blue.
You're just celebrating tiny victories, Stephen. Okay.
He knows he's safe, and that's as ballsy of a statement as he could come up with. That, we have to accept it because we can't overturn it. Like, no shit, you can't overturn it. Again, these are the foundations of our democracy. That these people are saying, I guess we have to accept it. So,
but the thing about it, though, is that you need these little dominoes to fall, and you need enough of them to fall,
right?
To where everybody else feels comfortable joining in on the chorus as well.
And as I was telling you guys off air, like the Huffington Post has this great little article. The headline is just a list of current Republicans who have denounced Trump. And when you click on the article, it's a picture of a tumbleweed. That's all it is.
Yeah, just blowing in the wind because no one's
all the
standing
time.
up.
And yeah, I'll just get real quick into this Hunter Biden thing. He's going on trial today. So is this a banana court? Should I not accept the outcome? Is this the Biden DOJ prosecuting a Biden? Like, none of this can possibly be fair and accurate. Not to mention he's being prosecuted for gun charges. No Republican has come to his defense that he lied on a form to get a gun and he said he was sober when he wasn't. That's what he's being prosecuted for. I thought the Second Amendment was an inalienable right. They're not allowed to ask you any of these questions. But no Republican is stepping forward to defend Hunter. No Republican is accusing the Biden Department of Justice of somehow being corrupt, but then they're prosecuting somebody named Biden, and they will dance a parade if Hunter Biden gets convicted of this. They won't say it's not fair, that it was a rigged thing. They will take it and run a fucking marathon with it because they're goddamn hypocrites and no one on their side sees it or cares about it. All of a sudden now, the Second Amendment means nothing. He can be prosecuted for it. The DOJ goes after him. That's fair and balanced. Yes, of course. Even though he's a Biden in the quote unquote Biden DOJ. I'm so fucking sick of the hypocrisy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did you see what Joe Biden put out on Twitter today about the case?
No. Just let justice do its thing.
Pretty much. He says, as the president, I don't and won't comment on pending federal cases, but as a dad, I have boundless love for my son, confidence in him, and respect for his strength.
Right. And do you think if Hunter Biden is found guilty, that Joe Biden's going to come out and say it's a rigged process and everyone's out to get him? Will he denounce our system of court trials? Do you think he'll do that?
Not at all.
You think he'll pardon him?
No.
Right. Yeah. And will he pardon him? Well, that's a great question because he could. Do you think Trump would pardon one of his kids if they were found guilty?
Yes.
If it wasn't Eric, I mean, he may let Eric sit in there, but it's not looking good.
I think the only kid he would actually pardon is the only one he actually cares about, and that's Ivanka.
He's horny.
He wants to bang her.
But the thing about it is like going back to when she was a kid, she was the only one he ever cared about. He didn't care about Don Jr., Eric, Tiffany. He certainly doesn't care about Barron now either.
But in all seriousness, he would pardon any of his kids because he would abuse his power. And again, just no one on his team seems to find that to be hypocritical, un-American, unconstitutional, or anything else. And it just, like, I've had so many discussions with normal people of like that there is no line. We've all debated for years. What's the line where people will give up on Trump? I swear to God, if he was fucking little boys right now, they would find a reason to justify that. There is no line. We have to outvote them. And any goddamn Democrat saying that they're not enthused by Biden, I'm going to sit this one out. Like, go fuck yourself. This is literally good versus pure evil. Stop it. Go fucking vote this November. We are going to lose our democracy. That is not hyperbole. It is literal. It is what will happen.
Yeah. Well,
I need to smoke a bowl. I'm getting way too wound up today.
You should.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, just go.
This is what our democracy has brought me to. I need to be medicated.
You gentlemen remember? You remember a guy named Bill O'Reilly? He's in the spin zone. He was. I was watching something the other day with him and Cuomo going back and forth, and they were talking about, Trump and the 34. And Bill O'Reilly said, if Joe Biden actually loves this country, he would squash this as soon as he's able to do it, because this is bad for the country. This isn't bad for Trump. I don't care that it's bad for Trump. Us doing this and taking on a political opponent like this is bad for the country. I'm just thinking, what are you fucking smoking, dude? No one did
to have
this.
Trump be part of this whole thing.
Yes,
and I mean,
he did
I've heard
it.
some other Democrats say that similar kind of thing for the good of the country. First of all, Joe Biden can't pardon Trump for this. It's a state case. But there are people calling on the governor of New York to pardon him for this. And it's the Nixon thing. Like, don't put the country through it. I don't agree with it with Nixon, and I wouldn't now. Like, we're supposed to have a fair system, and he's been found guilty. He should suffer the consequences. And let him appeal. Let him go through the process. But someday, you need to be held accountable.
Well, so here's a question. The roles were reversed, and we were saying that Biden was convicted on these sort of charges. And we were saying the same thing to Republicans. Hey, President Trump should really, pardon former President Biden.
Yes.
What would they say to us?
They would laugh in your face. They're throwing a party to lock him up. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course they would. The only reason why you want us to extend it to Trump is because you don't want your dear leader to go to jail. That's what it is.
Yeah. Hypocrisy. So.
Well, why don't you go smoke a bowl, and we'll keep everybody posted on what's happening in this case.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Let's go from one lunatic to another. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones was caught sobbing and screaming while claiming the feds are trying to shut down InfoWars. This is something he's been crying about for a long time. InfoWars is hard to keep on the air. It's not because it's a shitbag show, and they talk about things like, Sandy Hook was all actors, stuff like that, which he's paying monetarily for now. But Alex Jones on the podcast went in and let everybody know the feds are trying to shut down InfoWars. They're literally chaining up the doors, locking us out of the studio, and not letting us in as they try and shut down InfoWars because they don't want you, the public, you, the people, to have the information. Yeah. I have a 31-second clip I would like to play for you of Alex Jones and how serious this is, for crying out loud.
Can you muster a war cry?
It's a big joke.
It's not really, though. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's also inspiring.
It's my resistance to them. It's a God's transmission. It's a human under attack. We're going to beat these people. I'm trying to be dramatic here, but it's been a hard fight. These people hate our children.
These people hate our children. Okay.
For the guy that was convicted for defaming Sandy Hook child, mass shooting victims. And what a whiny little bitch snowflake, screaming at the top of his lungs and breaking down into tears. How's your tampon doing there, Alex Jones?
The last 15 minutes of his broadcast, he faces ruin for spreading the disturbing, blatantly false conspiracy that 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting was a hoax. He sobbed repeatedly as he alleged the deep state was trying to ruin him. He was being put down. He was being put under, and he was so pissed off. He was raging. He did a bunch of those battle cries before he broke down and, said what he did about the children's.
Yeah. Just like Trump, God forbid there be accountability for you in our legal system 12 years later or whatever it's taken to finally get to this point. Just accountability for everyone but you, Alex Jones, and you, Donald Trump, you, any God-fearing Republican out there. None of you should be held to account.
Do we want to know why he's actually being shut down?
Because he's way far in debt, and that's how our system works. They come after you and start seizing property. Is that why? Because that's how it works.
Jones filed for bankruptcy after being ordered in 2022 to pay $1.5 billion in damages after the families of Sandy Hook victims slapped a flurry of lawsuits against him over his promotion of the false theory that the school shootings that killed 20 first graders and 6 educators in Newtown, Connecticut, never happened. When Jones filed for bankruptcy, it put a hold on the family's efforts to recoup damages in state courts, given that a federal bankruptcy judge has to weigh in on how much money Jones can actually pay to the creditors. So he put this all on hold for a while, and now it's catching up with him, dude.
Yeah, finally.
Well, the families filed an emergency order, actually. They oppose the reorganization plans because they say that they don't think that the judge will actually grant the reorganization, and that this is just putting off him actually paying them, and that he needs to, all his assets need to be liquidated to pay them off.
Yeah, the lawyers said families have argued in court that it's been difficult for them to track the InfoWars host's finances due to the numerous companies he owns. His media companies, free speech systems, also filed for bankruptcy protection in the wake of this verdict. And yeah, I mean, it's basically, what do you call that, that Jason Bateman did in Ozark, where you got a strip club and you funnel money through it?
Yeah, money laundering.
Money laundering. I mean, that's basically what he's doing with all these people's money. He's just
moving it around and
hiding it, dude.
Yes.
Well, we'll know on June 14th. That's the day that the judge in the bankruptcy court has to rule on all this.
Listen, Alex Jones, you deserve accountability just for the black and white facts of this case. But the scumbag, inhumane thing you have done here deserves penalties that only your creator can possibly put on you. We've talked on the show before about the fact that if you're a parent, the worst thing that can happen is for you to outlive one of your kids.
Sure.
Have your kids murdered in fucking elementary school, gunned down, and then this fucking asshole tries to exploit that for his gain, his political fame? I mean, if we were going to bring back public flogging, no one would deserve it more than you fucking piece of shit.
And people warned him, right? I mean, people warned him several times, like, hey, you can't say that because it's not true. But, and then also people said, like, oh, you are harming us, dude. We're trying to move on from this. And this is creating a situation where we can't do that. We can't move past it.
Yes.
And then he just kept going and just multiplied it over and over. He's a real douchebag of a person.
Well, and don't forget all his supporters that made these families' lives hell.
Yes, repeatedly.
Just harassing them all the time.
On one level, I'm glad accountability is catching up to a Trump and an Alex Jones, but it has taken way too fucking long, and they have made so much money in the meantime. So I'm glad it's all being taken away, and he's still trying to gaslight his audience, saying, "Oh, they want to shut down the truth." No, they're holding you accountable for one of those sleazy scumbag things somebody could have done. But none of his conservative people see that at all because they're so brainwashed and delusional that they somehow think there is a deep state going after all these people. And again, we're never going to get through to these people. We just have to outvote them and ignore them. So for the love of God, vote blue no matter who.
Well,
that's right.
After the Boston Marathon bombing, he sent a bunch of people from InfoWars up to Boston when the police were doing their press conference about what had happened and that sort of thing. And his people from InfoWars started saying that it was a false flag and that the really but you know what happened? The people that were there for that press conference, not the media members, but the citizens who showed up, they beat the shit out of those people. Like literally beat the shit out of them.
Right,
Boston style, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And he went on the air and saying, "I can't believe they assaulted us when we were sharing our, doing our First Amendment." But they got the shit kicked out of them because you don't go to someplace and you don't tell that this didn't happen. So unfortunately, they didn't go to Newtown, and people in Newtown weren't there to beat the hell out of them there. Sometimes that's the kind of thing you have to do to these people. And I don't mean to call for violence, but sometimes you need to do that sort of thing on top of what they've done in the court as well.
For sure. Listen, I agree with what you just said. Like, it's a slippery slope. I don't want to call for people to just be publicly beating the shit out of each other because then they're going to do it to the Black Lives Matter people or the Antifa. Like, it's a slippery slope. But boy, a little street justice sometimes does have a vindication that I can't technically condone, but it does feel good. And I watch a lot of Karen videos nowadays of Karens getting either fucking punched in the face or having cops throw them on the ground and arrest them. And it's so vindicating to see these people that think they are above any sort of penalty, any sort of consequences, and they think they can just say whatever they want. And then someone walks up and punches them in the fucking face. And again,
they shut up real quick.
Right. Can't condone it. It's the old fuck around and find out. Like, there is some level of joy that I get out of it, but technically I'm not endorsing that. But
Brisky, don't we have a close friend of yours that threw coffee on Alex Jones?
I don't want to say it. I do, yes, but you have to understand. He went through a lot of trouble. Like he got harassed like you wouldn't believe for a long time. It took several years before people actually left him alone. But yes, it did happen in Seattle, actually.
Yeah.
It's the deep state going after him. And dude, take a lozenge, Alex Jones. What the fuck is wrong with your voice? Are you literally gargling rocks?
It's the war cries, dude. I mean, he's constantly war crying.
I can't even understand the guy. I can't even speak here. Everyone's out again today. Like, dude, do you have throat cancer? What the fuck's wrong with you?
I will say this: when he started crying.
Yeah.
I haven't laughed that hard by somebody crying like that since I saw Jimmy Swaggart get in front of you and saying, I have sinned.
Good luck to you, Alex Jones.
This is the only news you need to know. After all, this is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Nuff said.
It's time for another brewski. This one is a crazy brewski.
Well, gentlemen, I ordinarily bring the funny at this point. I try to lighten things up a little bit. And I'm going to continue a little bit, though, with the heavy sort of show that we've got going on today. And I just want to remind everyone that in 3 days' time, we will be approaching the 80th anniversary of D-Day.
Oh, wow.
And this is the last big anniversary, milestone anniversary, where we're going to have D-Day veterans on the beaches of Normandy. So that we can see these guys who they fought to beat back Nazism. They fought to beat back the fascists. And so my thing is just what we're doing in this upcoming election. It's not on the same level as Hitler and the Axis powers or anything like that, but it's kind of as damn close as we're going to get.
Well, it's similar to the start of all of that. I mean, if we let this go, that is the direction it's going to go.
If people need to know, I've heard a lot of vets talk about Saving Private Ryan as a movie as a whole. Steven Spielberg is really into history and he's into war and stuff like that. But if you watched even just the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan when they are approaching the beach, that's about as real as you can get. That's what I've heard from everybody. I mean, you were missed by luck and not by skill. And the people who lost their lives that day were plenty. They were young. They were there to fight. They signed their name on the dotted line. And yeah, you're right, Brewski. He calls them losers and suckers. I like people who don't get shot. I like people who don't get captured. What's in it for me? This is the guy that everyone's voting for. So remember it.
And
if you're a MAGA, I don't want to hear your crap this week honoring veterans on D-Day because you're supporting a fascist. You're supporting somebody who, our last show, Nick played a whole montage of Trump bagging and ripping and demeaning veterans, suckers, and all that kind of stuff. What's in it for them?
And top of that, how about with didn't he call for a United Reich recently?
Yes, he invoked the Reich. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
he's invoked Hitler multiple times.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't care if people want to say that it's being lazy to compare Trump to Hitler or anything like that. Our democracy is at stake here, and this is the battle we need to fight.
Yes,
and we have to absolutely do that, and we need to honor these men on Thursday. And like I said, this is the last big anniversary. I mean, there's one gentleman who turned 101 just yesterday. He's flying to Normandy to be part of this. Yeah. He was barely he was 20, almost 21 when he hit the beach in Normandy, Yeah.
Nick was just in Germany, and didn't you say they were all kind of making fun of us Americans? Like, you don't see what's happening? The same thing that happened to us with Hitler?
It was crazy. I mean, I was in museums and saw somebody take me from point A, B, C, D, and ran me down the line of how all this stuff happened and how some of these things were small and how they gradually became bigger and then a few small things, but showed you how it happened. And it was eerily familiar. And it's not, I hear a lot of people say like, oh, you're being dramatic. Like that could never happen. Yes, it could. It's happened before and it can happen again, dude. It can and will if you don't get out there and vote. I mean, this is go time. It's serious shit.
Yep.
Yeah, sure the level of ignorance right now on the right is just astounding. And Brewski, what you just said about this probably, most likely being the last D-Day where any of these guys are still alive. Last weekend, I think it was, because I'm an old man now, I was watching CBS Sunday Morning. I was up having my coffee with my lady, watching CBS Sunday Morning.
With your leather-bound books, yes.
Yes. And boy, there's this a new museum about all of this stuff where they, over the past few years, interviewed some of these still surviving veterans. They asked them each over 1,000 questions in this in-depth interview segment. And they have turned the interview into a virtual reality interactive display where these guys are now preserved in virtual reality. They're in a museum. You can go up to them. They're sitting in a chair and you can verbally ask them questions and they will respond to you and answer your question. Because they were interviewed and given they were asked any kind of topic. So you can ask them, what was the good, what was the bad about this day, this thing, and they will, in virtual reality, they will answer you, talk to you. They will now live on forever with their knowledge and their stories of history.
So important, dude. It's so important to just take it from their point of view, their lips, because you can't recreate it. So to have that is pretty awesome. Where is it?
It was somewhere down south. I'm going to have to look it up. But yeah, it was a brand new museum, and this is a brand new display, and it's a combination of virtual reality and artificial intelligence because the computer will obviously prompt their response. But Can you imagine if that was your grandfather or your father? I mean, they will live forever in this museum. You can go talk to them. You can ask them questions about their experiences when they were a 20-year-old on D-Day or serving in the Army. We talk about some of the harms of AI in virtual reality, but boy, is this a great way to preserve that history.
And taking the impact of that, dude, because a lot of these men and women who have fought in our wars have a really tough time talking about this stuff, bringing back, recalling some of these memories and what it was like. So, we really need to honor those people who are talking to us and telling us what's actually happening and what it's actually like over there. This is America's greatest generation. Isn't that what we call them, Brewski?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I believe it too.
Like I said, I wanted to share that. That's why.
It's a good thing to point out. We're talking about nothing but hypocrisy on the right today, and that's another great example that they'll sit here and try to say they honor and respect veterans and law enforcement, but they don't. Not when it doesn't serve their end. Not when it doesn't fit their narrative. And it's fucking disgusting, and it's about as un-American as I can think of.
Trump doesn't even want amputees at his events, because it's hard for people to look at. This is the way they talk about him.
He said nobody wants to see that. John Kelly was the one that told that story. He had a double amputee who also had serious burns, like third-degree burns, from Walter Reed Medical Center. Trump said after the event, "What are you doing? Don't do that. Don't bring somebody like that here. Nobody wants to see that."
This is who half our country is about to vote for, to lead the world. To lead our country.
And next time you say, I like having more money in my bank account. I like, taxes, policy. Think about some of this stuff, dude. And think about this is the person behind all that. And maybe it'll change your mind a little bit if you have a beating heart.
Speaking of, have you talked to your brothers about this? I know they're Fox News watchers and conservatives. What do they think about this verdict? Have you heard?
Only one brother would, only one brother has ever voted for Trump. The other brother is a Democrat.
Oh. But, I thought they both leaned that right. Okay. So how does the conservative, have you talked to him about this yet?
We talked about leading up to it a little bit on our road trip and, had varying opinions, and I think there may have been some understanding on his side of things. I think it was kind of somewhat of a productive conversation. But he's one of those people that is on the right who has told me at this point, I'm not voting. I think this is the first time in my long life that I just won't vote.
I'll take that as a victory. At least it's one less Trump vote, I guess, right?
Exactly. All right. Need to know news. News you need to know.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Right.
Start the news chant, please. Come on. News.
Okay. Listen, I hate to keep banging a drum here, but I've got one last Trump story that I just have to throw out because this is breaking news today on our recording date of this podcast. And I think the story has legs, but it's going to be just on the list of things that's going to take years probably to adjudicate and go after. But headline here from ProPublica, multiple Trump witnesses have received significant financial benefits from his businesses and campaign. Current events here. 9 witnesses in the criminal cases against former President Donald Trump have now received significant financial benefits, including large raises from his campaign, severance packages, new jobs, and a grant of shares and cash from the Trump media company. The benefits have flowed from the Trump business and campaign committees, according to ProPublica, their analysis of public disclosures, court records, and security filings. Couple of examples. One campaign aide has had his average monthly pay double from $26,000 a month to $53,000 a month.
That's a hell of a raise.
Right? Another employee got a $2 million severance package, barring him from voluntarily cooperating with law enforcement. And one of the campaign's top officials had her daughter hired on the campaign staff, where she is now the fourth highest paid employee.
That's the quid pro quo. This is
literally.
Yes, this is exactly what we're talking about. Quid pro quo. We're talking about payola. We're talking about the hush money Stormy Daniels case, dude. I mean, this is Trump only talks about Judge Marchand as being conflicted. It's because all the shit he pulls, he's got to worry about other people doing that. And when most people don't do that kind of shady shit that he does, like paying somebody $2 million to voluntarily not, give authorities any information voluntarily, why'd you throw that in there?
Right. Even if these perks were not intended to influence witnesses, which obviously they were, they could prove troublesome for Trump in future trials. Prosecutors could point to the benefits to undermine the credibility of those witnesses on the stand. And there could be criminal prosecution for this kind of thing of bribing witnesses, of a quid pro quo. You're trying to corrupt a legal system here. And you're paying people. And we've seen Trump do this a million times over, paying people through the campaign. It's what the fucking Stormy Daniels case was all about.
Yes, dude. He's paying to try and change the outcome of something because he knows he's going to lose otherwise. So I'll pay for it. That's what desperate people do that have a lot of money. He's crooked, dude. He's always been crooked. Stop.
One of the things Judge Marchand is supposed to be taking into account for when he sentences Trump is A, what level of remorse has he shown, which is zero, less than zero, and B, what is recidivism? Is he going to do it again? Has he shown that he would never do something like this again? He's doing it right now, currently, in this moment.
And he keeps telling you, I didn't do anything wrong. It was perfect. I'm perfect. I do it perfect. So, both of those things. He has no remorse. And yes, he'll do it again. He's doing it again. And he'll continue to do it until you put him away.
Yes. So we'll keep an eye on this story, but like I said, it's probably going to get lost in the minutia, which is so humorous that the GOP presumptive nominee has so many criminal trials going on. It's hard to even keep track of them.
100%, dude. It's so crazy to me. Yeah. Well, we'll keep.
Could you imagine Obama or Biden having one of these things, one count of these things going after them? I mean, please.
Come on, we'll go back to Suitgate, dude. I mean, we want to talk about serious crimes, so we'll go back to Suitgate, okay?
Yes, so.
We'll get into that. All right, well, keep your ear on the story, Stephen.
I will.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
I'll just give you something quick to think about, ladies and gentlemen, as we find out billions in your taxpayer dollars are now going to religious schools via vouchers. How do we feel about that? Billions in taxpayer dollars are being used to pay tuition at religious schools throughout the country as state voucher programs expand dramatically and the line separating public education and religion fades. So even if you don't believe in God, even if you don't believe you're a non-religious type of person, well, now your tax dollars are going to, billions are going to school via vouchers for religious school.
Wow. As we pointed out, majority of us in this country are now non-religious in one form or the other. And God forbid my tax dollars go to some, homeless guy trying to buy a sandwich. But go ahead, let it fund religious indoctrination in school systems around the country. I don't get a vote on that, apparently. The founding fathers didn't want government and religion being commingled like this. But we like to cherry pick what they said, and this is a great example.
Yeah, great. We don't want to help veterans out there that need housing. We don't want to help people that are addicted to drugs or mentally ill in other ways. But let's get these kids into schools. Vouchers, government money that could educate costs for families outside the public school system vary by state, but they offer up to $16,000 per student per year in many cases, fully cover the cost of tuition at a private religious school.
I assume some of these are going to Islamic schools too, right? Or Buddhist schools, right?
Obviously, dude. We do things fair here. Come on, obviously.
I'm so sick of religious people being, we need God in the school. My God, not your God, just my God. We need funding for public, religious schools. Our religion, not their religion.
Well, but also they're doing the same thing with the charter schools. Whenever you've got charter schools, that money takes money out of the local public schools. That's where that goes. That's where it comes from.
You're 100% right. Why do you think this all just came out, gentlemen? Well, I'll tell you. You don't even have to guess, okay? Well, let's just say the Supreme Court ruled that taxpayer dollars can go towards religious schools. That was something in the past that we said they couldn't do, but our Supreme Court ruled that taxpayer dollars can go towards religious schools now.
Boy, this new Supreme Court, they're just throwing everything out the window. Huh?
Yeah.
Every chance they get.
Fair and balanced, though. So everyone have faith that the Supreme Court, that is supposed to be the ultimate arbiter, the ultimate neutral arbiter, it no longer is. And again, if we had 5 liberals on the Supreme Court, the conservatives would be losing their shit.
Hey, dude, vote blue no matter who. And if you want to get back to red someday, maybe you can do that when this whole Republican Party calms down. But for now, vote blue no matter who, please.
I got a new one. How about vote blue or fuck you?
You do. We just off with your head. I don't think it's a bad idea. Might be a little aggro, but I like it.
I don't know. I'm going to go smoke a Xanax. I'm going to all wound up today.
There you go.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we are the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Olabruski. Thank you for listening to the podcast today. Call our comment line 844-48-VOCAL.
Indeed. Go to our website, thevocalminority.net, and most importantly, find all of our social media platforms. We're on all of the ones that matter. And the actual podcast, by the way. Like, we've seen a spike recently that seems to be maintaining. We're about to hit a new threshold for monthly downloads that we've been aiming for. And, so spread the good word. The social media stuff is great. And I love to see people commenting and sharing on all that. But the full-length podcast here, if you're one of the people listening to this right now, spread the word. Tell some other people about it. We want to up these downloads and keep these sorts of opinions out there.
And also, thank you. Yeah, we say thank you for downloading the podcast. Brewski, I'm going to either talk to Clem Fandango or Brewski, say goodbye, please.
We'll check you later.
And we say bye-bye.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Stop.